Greetings, and welcome to Today in Trek, our daily show for what has, is, and will happen in the world of Trek. It's January 10th, and our guest host today is Captain Peter Porker. Captain Porker and his crew are handling some daily endeavors on Nimbus 3, so we'll let them get to it while we talk Trek. No coffee of the day today. I'm trying to wean myself off that wonderful stuff, but if you've got a favorite coffee vendor that also contributes to the greater good, let me know, and I'll give them a try and a shout out. On to Today in Trek. Birthdays first. In 1922, comic book artist Bob Lubbers was born. Under the name Bob Lewis, he was responsible for inking several of the Star Trek covers penciled by Joe Brzezowski in the 1980s. Voyager actor Ivar Brogger was born in 1947. Animated series writer Frederick Bronson was born in 1949. He was also the publicist for Gene Roddenberry's The Questor tapes and appeared in Star Trek The Motion Picture. Remember the jogger who was blown over by the landing of the Klingon ship in Star Trek IV, the one with the whales? That's James Menges, who was born this day in 1951. Errol Bryland, a background actor in TNG's fifth season episodes of Unification and Unification 2, was born in 1952. Voyager actor Eric Whitmore was born in 1955. In 1958, TNG actress Anne Verrier Scatolini was born. She played a Klingon in the episode Firstborn. Sherman Augustus, former NFL player turned Voyager actor, was born in 1959. Stephen James Carver, who played 4 roles in TNG and DS9, was born in 1961. Stuntman Christopher Blackwood, who was Aaron Eisenberg's stunt double in several episodes of DS9, was born in 1972. Picard actor and Into Darkness stuntman Nico Woolard was born in 1990. In Trek series on this day, in 1969, the TOS episode Let That Be Your Last Battlefield aired. Though often lauded for its message on race relations and unreasoning racism, it has also been criticized for being, quote, heavy-handed. That said, Armin Shimmerman commented, most of Star Trek, whether it's our show or other shows, was intended to be a metaphor for social evils. In Gene Roddenberry's first show, every episode was addressing some social inequality, racism being one of them. Let That Be Your Last Battlefield with Frank Gorshin was one of the most powerful episodes of that series. 2 sets of races were living on one planet, and their faces were each divided between white and black. One had black on the right side of their face, one had white on the right side of their face. It made no sense that one race should dominate over another simply because the colors were reversed. I remember being enormously affected by that episode as a young man. The DS9 episode Past Prologue premiered in 1993. This episode introduced Garak to the entourage, and specifically to Dr. Bashir. Shippers worldwide extend their thanks to writer Catherine Powers and to Andrew Robinson, who said, regarding the first interactions between these two, Garak's interest in Bashir was purely sexual. Duh. On a side note, Admiral Rollman was played by actress Susan Bay, who was also Leonard Nimoy's wife and friend of executive producer Rick Berman. The Pegasus, a Season 7 TNG episode, aired on this day. The episode is a study in the character of Riker, who is put in a position to choose between his former commander and that of his current captain, Picard. Hint, he chooses wisely. It's a good episode, and we get to enjoy Captain Picard Day. On a sad note, Arthur Batanides, who played Lieutenant D'Amato in the TOS episode That Which Survives, passed away in 2000. On the same day, director John Newland also passed away. Newland directed the TOS episode Errand of Mercy. Actor Peter Crombie died on this day in 2024. He played Follett Cott in the DS9 episode Melora. Trek History of the Future. Section 31 premieres in 14 days. As I've said before, it will be shown on Paramount Plus in the US and the other international markets that have Paramount Plus, and on Sky Showtime in other international markets, premiering on February the 7th. So let's talk a little bit about the Section 31 film. The idea of a spin-off series emerged during the first season of Discovery, when actress Michelle Yeoh suggested it to Alex Kurtzman. Whether a series would be feasible was questioned since, at the time, Discovery had not yet been released. However, despite mixed reviews for the first season, the overall public response was fairly good, and Michelle Yeoh's performances and character received positive responses. With that in hand, a Discovery Season 1 finale scene was recorded, and apparently later deleted, in which Georgiou is invited to join Section 31. This was all happening in 2019, with the intention that the series would be in production from May to November of 2020, with 2 seasons being filmed back-to-back. It had already been renewed for a second season, even without the production of the first season having been started. Filming was tentatively set to start in February of 2020, and the complete first 2 seasons to be released in 2021 or 2022. However, Michelle Yeoh's involvement with the movie Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings delayed filming, and then a little thing known as COVID-19 came along, and plans for the series, to quote Alex Kurtzman, were thrown completely into whack. If there was a good side to that, it was the belief that the additional time would allow for the development of additional scripts. In April of 2023, Paramount announced that it would be moving ahead with Section 31, but as a streaming event film instead of a series. While no single reason was given for the decision, Star Trek had a number of series still in production. Discovery had just concluded, but Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, and Prodigy were still in production. And more significantly, Michelle Yeoh had just won an Oscar for her work in Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and her availability would presumably become more limited. That said, Yeoh has indicated that she would be open to making a sequel if the first film is successful. Filming of the movie began on January 29, 2024, and concluded on March 21st. A final cut of the film was completed in mid-October 2024, though there was still post-production work going on at that time. A teaser trailer was released at San Diego Comic-Con in July of 2024 to mixed responses. A subsequent trailer was released in December 2024. But what's the show about? Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow. In the meantime, Star Trek Online's weekend endeavor is Hive Onslaught. Yep. Threaten me with a good time. Red Alert and Double XP are still running, but please check your traits. The Thursday patch resulted in them getting removed from the trays, regardless of whether you logged in or not. Make sure to have your toys up and running before you queue up for something fun. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow.